Rising was your favorite gameplay wise? I've watched some Rising stuff. It looks like a good game, just not my type of game. You know, there's still games that I can look at and I can see like, oh, okay, I see why people like it. It makes sense, but it's not necessarily for me. Like the Resident Evil game, it looks like good games. It's just not for me. Same thing with Sekiro. Sekiro looks like a good game, just not for me. Oh, the fucking dung eater, bastard. Okay. Oh, he's not slept. Just sleep already, boy. Oops. Look at that. Oh, that free aim kind of saved us. Love how he's sitting there sleeping. Pressure, bro. I don't care. Hit me. Hit me. Real game curious? Probably. We'll never know. Okay, so that's a good question, Jacob. I see in a lot of your Dark Souls 3 vids where you say you wished Elden Ring did X or Y when it released. Would you say in retrospect that Elden Ring has fulfilled some of those things? Actually, yes. A lot, to be quite honest. Like, Elden Ring actually fulfilled a lot of things I wish Dark Souls 3 had. The only problem that I actually did not expect is because the devs don't really pay too much attention to the PvP, Elden Ring also fell back on things that we thought we had for granted. Stuff like the good damage curve that we had in Dark Souls 3, and you know, various like balance changes, you know, like things like when Elden Ring came out, there was like so much issues around shields and Bloodhound Step, and these were things that, you know, Dark Souls 3 did quite well. Like, if anything, Dark Souls 3 was probably the best game around shields. Elden Ring is good now shield wise, but there was a lot of things where Elden Ring was like, ooh, you know, we took a few step backs on that. But about the things that Elden Ring improved upon, to me the biggest thing and the biggest flaw that Dark Souls 3 had was it was much harder to aggress in Dark Souls 3 and to break neutral, and weapons and pretty much setups in general lacked forward momentum and lacked something where you could engage and start pressure from. What Elden Ring did better than Dark Souls 3 was it introduced attack priority from running attacks. And not only that, in Elden Ring you have way more attacks, so you can start your aggression from, you know, you have a lot more plays from neutral that are actually viable, as opposed to a game like Dark Souls 3 where there's really only one play, and it's to get the tight spacing and to reactively space your opponent. Now that does come with its plus and cons. One thing that I don't know if Elden Ring did well or not, it's going to be hard to say because we have not played Elden Ring without it, is Elden Ring has very low recovery on everything, and that's something that Dark Souls 3 addressed quite well. Like Dark Souls 3 had fairly, well, actually I shouldn't say that. There was some weapons in Dark Souls 3 that had like really low recovery and other ones that had like high recovery, but Elden Ring is like on another level as far as recovery is concerned. Like everything has such low recovery that you can really get away in Elden Ring in just like whiffing so much. We already hit him, so that was pointless. Take it. Ah. Another thing Elden Ring did better than Dark Souls 3 is the mix-ups. The mix-ups, the introduction of the crouching, the jumping attack makes the game a lot more intricate. There's a lot more plays you have to think about more. It makes the game more complex. Now, more complex is not necessarily always good, but like I said, one thing that Dark Souls 3 lacked was options. a lot of time you did not have any option to start aggressing, even if you wanted to. And so Elden Ring definitely addressed that. Now, another thing that Elden Ring fell back on to contradict that is a lot of poise that, like, I don't necessarily think passive poise is a bad thing. I know a lot of people that come from Dark Souls 3 were really disappointed about passive poise. I think passive poise can work, but I think the passive poise was not done well in Elden Ring. First of all, it hurts fashion, so that, you know, you can't say that this necessarily has something to do with gameplay, but no one likes to be able to wear something they don't like wearing for your character to be viable. So that's one. But also, I think the balance around poise is not there. Like, it makes certain attacks should be poisable and other attacks should not be poisable. And it just makes for some weapons that are like artificially forced to be bad simply because a lot of their attacks just cannot poise break. Like, for instance, let's take for instance the two-handed Naginata, right? Like, two-handed Naginata, like, cool weapon, really interesting moveset, like unique weapon. You'd see a lot more people playing it if the damage curve and the poise system was done properly, right? So, like, the poise system and the damage curve kills some of these weapons to a point where they could be in a much better spot and could be a much more interesting weapon. Now, it's not to say that you cannot play and be successful with the weapon as it is right now. I'm sure if you spend a lot of time with it, you'd find a way around it, but that's kind of the whole point. You're gonna have to find a way around it as opposed to have the weapon offer you something. Like, you kind of want the weapons to offer you an experience, offer you a playstyle, offer you something good, something different. Now, you know, it's just gonna be like more subpar than playing another weapon. It's just gonna feel underwhelming. I would say I'm fairly open-minded when it comes to games. You're sick and in bed. Oh, well, that sucks. I'm fairly open-minded when it comes to these games, I think, and I like to think I adapt to different systems, and I definitely give Elden Ring his fair share. Oh, we're definitely getting slept here. Fucking saying we might get cornered. Come on. Fucking shit players. Not believe me. Come on, the overshoot. This guy's really bad. We can definitely kill him like fairly easily if we just get a small moment. I thought I was dead. Uh-oh. Come on, dude. We actually... Man, that's just bad. We would have won that. That's just my mistake. Yeah, just a costly mistake there. We already beat them too, like, and we would have beat them here if we didn't fucking drink an MTS this. It's unfortunate. That's completely my fault though. Healed too soon, yeah. I think I'm gonna do this though. I'm gonna remove my main Estus from this, and I'm just gonna put it in the bar here. Like, I'm probably gonna do that, and then replace like this with like something else. Like probably like sleep pots actually, so that I don't, because this happened like so often where you heal and you don't have the Estus because you don't see it. Yeah, me too, Moz. It's not the first time I make this mistake. And it's one that's very easily avoidable by just doing what I just did there. Just putting the Estus on the hotbar instead. I think it's going to be a good idea to have like the sleep pots instead here. Muscle memory is going to be fucked. Yeah, but I think that's a necessary change, and it's not the hardest one. Oh, well, Bfuzz here. I have blue Estus. Blue Estus, it doesn't happen that often. It's easier to keep track of how many blues you got. Like that. See, I actually did it there. Putting the wrong thing. There you go. All right, let's kill some shit player. I think I want to put fire, not fire, blade in there. Again, like you said, the muscle memory is going to be an issue for a little bit, but it's okay. Bfuzz. Oh, insane lock on. Okay, get back to it. Shadow or plate. Sounds like they're close. Yeah, they are. Okay. It looks like no. Never mind. Never mind. There must be a mage. There's always a mage. Guy has highlight. Oh, at least that covers me. It covers behind me. This is annoying. Just protected him. Really? The knife actually stunned me? The knife keeps stunning me because of the fucking ghost hits on the... Okay. Ghost hits on the fist. Gameplay. I don't want it. I forgot we can actually go here. Come on, you stupid fucking lock-on! God, thank you. Jesus. Dude, this lock-on almost fucked us. Guys, that shit net. Soon as they're in a 1v1, they crumble. It's fun though, I always have shadows to, like as a backup who comes in there when I killed one. Has anyone looked into what the lock-on prioritizes? Well, before, like, the lock-on would prioritize where, like, it's a stupid system. Usually, like, if you have any brain when you're designing your game, you want your lock-on to prioritize the center of the camera. Or even to an extent a mix between the center of the camera and the distance of the next target. Like you don't want it to be pure center. Like if your pure center is like looking at someone that's way back, you want it to be still like the guy that's close center but that's like nearest. So it should be like, technically it should be like a big circle on your screen in front, like invisible obviously, and then in that circle it takes the target that's closest away. That's a system that makes sense. Now the system that was in Dark Souls 3, and I think it's similar to Elden Ring, is basically you lock on to where your character is facing. So if I'm walking, if I'm like this, my character is gonna lock on to the person here, as opposed to locking on to the person that would be at the side of grace. So I can like move like that, and I'll lock on to the guy that's here instead of locking on to the guy that's over there. Which is very unintuitive. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really. That's so backward. Yeah, no one really understands why they do it this way. And they never... Like, I think in Elden Ring it's similar to what Dark Souls 3 has. But even then, like, sometimes there are a lot of instances that you can observe where the lock-on will behave in a way that no one really understands. Like sometimes you'll get instances where the lock-on just does not follow the normal rule. It works very consistently to things you don't want to lock on to. Yeah. Like that. See the damage? 287. Likely unscaled. Or not unscaled, though. Like a David thing. Lucky bastard. Out of here. Good fight. Are you alone? No. We're not alone. Oh, I think we hit the dust. A little confused with the buttons. Cute the game. There you go. Again. That muscle memory, man. Alright, bud, you're next on the menu. You know, doesn't really matter if you run or not. I think it's pretty much over. Let's just do stupid, oh, I was about to say just do staggered running, but he's playing like a randomizer, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wonder if the DLC will introduce like some replayable activity. Like, you know, anything. Like, you can think of anything. You can think like what we've seen with the recent mods, you know, the boss rush. You can think like horde mode. You can think new PvP maps, new PvP modes. You know, think of anything. Increase player limit in a certain area. I wonder what they're gonna add in the DLC for replayability, or if the DLC is just going to be what we kind of expect it to be, which is more PvE content, more weapons, more armor. That's it. Right? I'm wondering. I think you'll be slightly annoyed if there's a bunch of recycled enemies in the DLC. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm really looking forward to Armored Core, so I kind of, like, mentally, I kind of gave up on Elden Ring. Like, I'm not, like, you know, before Elden Ring came out, Elden Ring for me was going to be the next big thing. It did propulse the channel a lot, and you know, a lot of people get to know us because of Elden Ring, but it was not what I wanted. And so I'm already ready to kind of move on to something new. Okay, these gankers again. Sleep. God damn it! I keep pressing the wrong buttons! Now we have to fucking fight this thing again. And I went above him. Jesus Christ, I keep pressing the wrong buttons. There you go. Okay, now he slept. Oh, that's a roll catch. Just like was slightly out. Insane ambush attempt. These guys have no idea what they're doing. Keep pressing the wrong buttons though, at least. Insane player. You're on the fence about Armored Core. You talk so highly of it, so I'll watch you play it, get a feel for it. Well, we already did a playthrough of Armored Core 5. We finished it, I think 2 days ago. It went pretty well. The last mission was so epic. Like, our last mission was so freaking epic that it left me like a really good feeling. Like after we beat the game, I'm probably gonna upload that last mission. It was just so good.